Hello there, Internet version 2 here with Let's Stare at a PDF for like 6 to 7 hours or however long this is gonna be. This is Let's Read Danganronpa Zero. A while back, a long while back, probably 6 months or so, because I've been slow at starting this, I did a Let's Read of Danganronpa If, which was included with Danganronpa 1 on Vita, and the game just had it, and it had backgrounds to it, and it had music and auto-scrolling dialogue, and I just pressed X and I read out what was there. And now we're getting to, and that was completely non-canon. That was a non-canon thing entirely. Now we're getting to something that's actually important. With Danganronpa Zero, this is canon. It is before Danganronpa 1, and I've been told that it is very, very, very important to read before we actually get around to the Danganronpa 3 anime. The plan is we're going to read this. I'll read Hagakure because it's included in Danganronpa 2. If I can find a full English translation of Kirigiri, I'll read that, but that has proven difficult, and it's tempting to read Togami, because I've heard nothing but Danganronpa Togami novel is one of the worst things ever written, so it's tempting to read that just to see how shit it is. But the plan is we'll read this, definitely Hagakure, because it's there, so I might as well. Maybe the others if I'm able to. I don't know if there's anything else that we have to read or do before Danganronpa 3. I've heard there's an OVA, it's like Nagito and the World Ender, or Nagito, the World Ender, or something. I don't know if that's a canon thing, if I'm meant to watch that before, if it's like during, I don't know. Basically, this is just me putting an upfront thing saying, hey, once we get to the end of these novels, it's just going to roll straight into the Danganronpa 3 anime, so take this opportunity right now at the very start of this to let me know if there's anything that I'm missing outside of this Despair Hagakure novel, whatever that is. Kirigiri, if I can find it. Togami, if we want to laugh at how terrible it is. And if there's anything else, let me know. If I can get the grinding done, / if I can record my Vita again, because my Vita HDCP bypass has been fucking up. If I can record it, I want to record finishing the island and school modes in those things, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to, which also means if I can't do that, I can't do Hagakure, but I could find somewhere Hagakure online, maybe. I don't know. Point is, I'm stalling because we're about to read a PDF. So I went into this thinking, just for downloading it, just going, oh, Zero will just be a single one-off video, like the 3-hour if video. No, this thing is 247 fucking pages and about 20 chapters long when I do Control F to find chapter. So no, this is long. So this is going to be a multi-part series. So this is, hey, just going up as like a normal Let's Play. So expect 30 to 40 minute episodes, except for the final chapter, which seems to be about 100 of these 247 pages. I've got my scroll bar on the side, which you can't see. My scroll bar on the side shows me where the chapter starts. I've Controlled F'd it. So I know when I'm getting close to an end of the chapter, and it's about 2/3 of the way that the last one's there, and then the rest of that is just one chapter. So unless they've mistyping in the word chapter after a certain point in this translation, which thanks to whoever translated this, I don't remember off the top of my head, and I can't check it right now while recording, but I might put a link into the description to the download link / thanking whoever actually put up this translation, because it's never been officially translated into English, which, considering how important it apparently is baffling. Point is, let's get into reading a PDF. This is going to be weird. This is going to be fucking weird. I'm just recording me reading a fucking... I'm just upfront. This is going to be strange. It's Danganronpa, it's always strange, but this is a new type of strange. I think I should put music in the background for this, but if I just go, I'll just use a different Danganronpa backing track for each individual episode. There's going to be some massive tonal weirdness to it, and I don't have the time or energy or botheredness to put in music that fits tonally in individual things, because it means that I have to actually go through and cut in appropriate music at appropriate times, and I am not bothered to do that. So hey, if it's just my voice, that's gonna be fun, and if it's not, then hey, wait for some tonal whiplash with music playing during weird moments. Let's just start reading this, shall we? I have no idea what to expect. It's before Zero, so I'm expecting some stuff about reserve course because they were a big deal. And beyond that, I'm not sure what to expect. I'm curious, does this go up right to, like, them losing their memories at the start of one, or how far do we go? We'll find out soon. Anyway, look at this title art of these two characters, which is incredibly hard to find a clean art without things written all over it through a thumbnail, which, hey, if the thumbnail's low quality, that is why. Volume 1. Now I'm immediately worried that I don't have... Is it... Fuck, I hope what I've got here is all the volumes. We'll find out if it isn't halfway through it, I guess. Volume 1, Chapter 1. Junko Enoshima despaired. Everything turned out just the way she expected. Everything turned out just the way she hoped. And so she despaired. Huh? Is it really that easy? Magma-like heat boiled up deep inside her stomach, gradually swelled inside her body, and exploded when it reached her chest. The explosion escaped her heart and reached every muscle in her body, bringing her to a complete standstill. The sound of splashing water came from the muddy pool she stood in, as droplets of water danced through the air. Man, the writing for these novels is always just going to be incredibly detailed because it's spoken from a narrator perspective, which the games aren't. So it always feels different. On closer examination, one could notice the water was red. It's blood. Obviously, it's blood. As soon as her body stopped moving, the red droplets of water came raining down, making grotesque patterns on her clothes and skin. Her clothes and skin. Her clothes painted deep red with blood. Her skin painted deep red with blood. Her face painted deep red with blood. So is this the first time she's killed someone? Nevertheless, none of this caught her attention. Instead, she started tapping her foot impatiently. It was a magnificent tap. She put every bit of strength, body, and soul she had into it, her entire existence. And then, after tapping for a while, Junko Enoshima let out an annoyed yell, as fierce as the roar of a feverish, rampaging beast. But that's not enough! I don't know how much I should act it, because I'm not an actor. Her scream echoed through her surroundings, the noise pouring down as if it was a rock shattering into pieces. But she wasn't done. She continued to scream, "More, more! I need even better despair-inducing despair." She continued tapping her foot intently. Despair-inducing despair. That's what she was after, as opposed to the hope-inducing despair that she accidentally gives everyone else, or intentionally. It depends on the situation. She wanted not only for the world to despair, but also for despair worthy of her own self. More, more, more! Despair-inducing despair! She stopped mid-thought. Something clicked inside her head, and she stopped moving. Her face froze in a surprised expression. Then she stood petrified, as if every muscle in her crimson-painted body stopped working. Then she let out a weak whisper. Oh, I see. A series of gears and switches began moving deep inside her skull, sparking pitch-black thoughts. A certain object floated up inside her mind. A face. It was a face she knew, of course. The face of a fellow student at Hope's Peak Academy. So is this this is the beginning of her creating her Monokuma personality? Her body shivered as she started laughing. The shiver gradually spread to her entire body, and then she started tapping her foot again. This time her tapping resembled a dance. She tapped her foot like a girl who couldn't help feeling joyous. A girl who couldn't help having fun. Oh, it's so wonderful, so wonderful. And as the face of a person destined to bring her so much wonderful despair kept floating inside her mind, her heart overflowing with a strange feeling that almost felt like love. Junko Enoshima danced to the rhythm of despair. Oh, it's going to be so magnificent, this despair. Laughing ecstatically. Super high school level Junko Enoshima. Oh yeah, because it's straight Japanese translation, so it's not ultimate, it's super high school level something. So Junko Enoshima continued dancing. She danced as if she was losing her mind. That was the beginning. The beginning of a story that ends in despair. So it sounds like she just killed someone because she wanted to feel despair. And then she was like, oh, but even more despair though. But like even more though. Chapter 2. That was a short chapter. Jesus. That's what? I can't say. There we go. I've got a thing somewhere on here that shows me how many pages it is, which you can't see on screen. So hey, if it's me not knowing how a PDF works, then I apologize. But that was about 2 pages compared to the last chapter, seemingly 100 pages. The chapters are going to be weird lengths in this, so I can't just go, I'll do this many chapters per video. This is going to be weird. Chapter 2, Hope's Peak Private Academy, an exclusive government-sanctioned school accepting only students with exceptional abilities. Its stated goal is to raise the future hope of the nation, and for that reason, it became known as the Academy of Hope. It's a source of envy, as it's common knowledge that one can gain great success in life just by being a Hope's Peak graduate. Certainly, many Hope's Peak graduates are now employed in higher positions in every field of the professional world, so that statement is not an exaggeration. It's like the most elitist shit in the world, but whatever. There are 2 requirements to becoming a Hope's Peak student. One must currently be enrolled in high school, one must super excel at their field of expertise. That doesn't happen in the fucking whatever. How do these people get to this level during high school? It's ridiculous. Hope's Peak doesn't hold any standard entrance exams, as the Academy insists that the things tested by these kinds of exams are meaningless for its purposes, or any purposes except for testing memory. Instead, students are scouted by the Academy's staff, who serve as both educators and researchers of extraordinary human ability. Some say Hope's Peak Academy faculty members are much like parents, who made it their life's mission to find talent and nurture in their children. Nurture it in their children. Bad at reading, which is great for this series. Right now, every member of that extraordinary faculty, as well as the Academy itself, is facing an unprecedented, unparalleled crisis. Like font changing randomly for some unknown reason. Hope's Peak Academy faculty building is located in the Academy's eastern quarter, and is the only building on campus students are forbidden to enter. Did we go there in one? I don't even think. The corridors of that building, usually busy with staff members going back and forth, were now empty and engulfed in an unnatural silence. The laboratories, the private rooms, and the luxurious personal offices had all been abandoned. Every man and woman who usually occupies these locations were currently gathered in a single place. Meeting room 13. Oh shit, we got some Xehanort stuff in here. Just combining all my popular shit together. Cross-promotion. Get everyone watching all of my videos. Hope's Peak Academy largest meeting room is located on the top floor of the faculty building and has a maximum capacity of over 300. Nevertheless, with every single faculty member attending, it was fully packed. Not a single empty seat remains next to the long tables lined across the room. But for such a huge crowd, the room was relatively quiet. Only a single person's voice could be heard. The voice of Hope's Peak Academy's headmaster, Jin Kirigiri. Woo, Kirigiri! I mean, I'm familiar with your skull and the rocket ship that killed. I'm still confused about how realistic or how canon that rocket ship thing was, because, yeah. He faced the assembled faculty members from his position at the foremost table, and read from a printout he held in his hand. He spoke in an unaffected tone of voice, a blank expression on his face. Sounds familiar. The words printed on the paper came out of his mouth as if he was nothing more than an automaton reading them out. As far as Kirigiri was concerned, that was his most important duty. It didn't matter how out of the ordinary the subject on hand was. No, he didn't have any time to waste faced with the current state of confusion and unanswered questions. If they had time, they are much, much more important things they should be doing. A voice suddenly rose from the crowd. Are you saying we're going to cover it up? Kirigiri raised his head and saw 300 people staring at him intently, waiting for a response. It wasn't a piercing stare. It was a much more uncomfortable stare than that. 300 people stared at him as if they were one entity, and Kirigiri felt every hair on his body tingling. He turned his head toward the 4 people sitting to his right, trying to escape the stare. They were stationed at the same front row table he was, their faces unusually wrinkled. Their eyes were closed, making those wrinkly faces even wrinklier. From Kirigiri's position, it almost looked like the 4 faces in front of him was one huge giant wrinkle. Ew. The 4 members of Hope's Peak Academy's steering committee looked as if they were about to give up. Not much good can come out of something that's called a steering committee, right? Like, it's just me, not just me? Okay. An unintentional bitter smile appeared on Kirigiri's face. So that's how it's going to be. Oh well, it's not as if I expected anything else. With those feelings festering inside his heart, Kirigiri turned back towards the crowd's stare. He put the paper aside. He was going to use his own words from now on. Let me make it perfectly clear, he emphasized. We reached this decision after putting a lot of thought into the matter at the Hope's Peak Academy steering meeting that took place earlier today. He felt the temperature in the room turning tepid. It was probably because every faculty member's body had grown stiff in attention. Kirigiri sipped from the cup in his hand and continued. We understand, of course, how extremely irregular this decision is. The wrinkly faces that were as much a part of the we he talked about The wrinkly faces that were as much a part of the we he talked about as he did not move an inch. I can't make a word of that sentence, it's fine. It was as though he knew from the very beginning he was going to take the situation into his own hands. Make no mistake, we are not covering this incident up to escape responsibility. If I could end it all here and now by simply taking responsibility, I would do so in a heartbeat. Unfortunately, this particular incident cannot be dealt with that easily. It doesn't even matter if each and every one of us takes responsibility. We're dealing with a problem that exists in an entirely different dimension. Kirigiri stopped for a moment and finished his glass of water in a single, trying to remain calm. Don't get me wrong, I don't think we are completely blameless here. If we were, that parade out there would not be taking place right now. The parade is the reserve course, right? Like, the reserve... I don't know if they've killed themselves at this point, but the parade is the reserve course, right? Is that what they called themselves? Or am I just making that connection? I can't remember. So it says the parade out there would not be taking place right now. I'm assuming the way they're talking about it, they haven't killed all of themselves yet. Kirigiri pointed a finger at the curtains window. Several people turned to look at it, a severe expression on their faces. That parade has been growing larger and larger lately. The people in it think we're all despicable. Their opinion is not completely unfounded. Kirigiri paused and moved his gaze across the room, looking at each of the faculty members' faces, as if what he was about to say was personally directed at them, individually. Nevertheless, I refuse to believe Hope's Peak Academy's thesis that talent itself is humanity's first and foremost hope is wrong. You must realize that if information about this incident leaves the walls of this school, we are likely to lose it all. As far as I'm concerned, that would be a gigantic loss for the human race. Every one of our successful graduates I've spoken to feels the same way. At the mention of Hope's Peak's graduates, the crowd stirred a little. That's the reason I and the members of Hope's Peak Academy's steering committee reached our decision. We concluded that this incident shouldn't be made public after all. He took a peek at the older men, but they remained still. Their blank expressions made it look as if what was going on did not concern them. As I said before, I know more than anyone how irregular this decision is. Nevertheless, we have a duty, both as educators and as scientists. The duty is the duty to protect talent. Should human talent become a target of public hostility, it would be a great tragedy. Furthermore, there is one more thing I want you all to remember. Great tragedy. The 300 faculty members waited in attention for Kirigiri's next words. It's amazing how many faculty members there are for seemingly how few students there are. I mean, I don't know how many classes are at this school at any one given time, but fuck, I'm gonna guess it's not many considering they take one person from every field, if they even take someone from that field. The crimes committed may be terrible, but it doesn't change the fact that student carries a very special brand of hope we raised all in our own. Oh, okay. It's Azuru. Okay. Azuru killed a bunch of people. Got it now. I understand what is happening. The crimes No, I already read that part. The color of the faculty's eyes changed in an instant. They all went from the blue to the orange. The reference to my other two. They did not stir anymore. Everyone sat in complete silence. No one objected. No one could object. Maybe they went from orange to blue. His words were narrow-minded, but they reflected the opinions of everyone in the room. They were all acting both as educators and as scientists, researching human talent. And just like any other scientist becoming obsessed with their area of research, the staff of Hope's Peak Academy were obsessed with talent. Anyone who did not share that obsession did not belong in Hope's Peak. That's why they listened to Kirigiri's words and made their decision. They had to protect their thesis. They had to protect the future they believed in. They had to protect the hope they believed in. And so, they would do their best to cover up the worst incident in Hope's Peak Academy's history. Chapter 3. I'm going to take a slight drink because... A lot of reading. So yeah, this is after Azuru killed a bunch of fucking people, and they were just like, a person that we were just making better at their whole thing just killed a bunch of people, but we should never question our thesis now. No, we can't do that. Chapter 3. A yellow cat peeked out from the thicket to the side of the pavement. Hi, cat. Meow. It slowly stepped out of the swaying grass and into the road, waving its long tail as it turned its eyes in anticipation toward me. But its expression soon turned to alertness, and then fear. The cat, having seen me skipping merrily down the road towards it, must have thought I was about to trample it. It escaped back into the bushes in panic. But I didn't care at all. I bathed in the light of the hot sun, let the wind flutter my skirt, and continued my obscene merry skip onward down the road. I'm immediately noticing that we've swapped perspectives here. We're now in first person. I'm assuming to hide the identity of whoever we're talking about so we can learn who it is later. Well, I have like a formal introduction to them. Maybe it's the redhead chick that's up in the top of the thing. I was in Hope's Peak Academy's Eastern Quarter, near the courtyard. Many newly built facilities were lined up around me, as well as several that were still under construction. As I skipped down the road that twisted between them, I took no special notice of any dirty cats or of my classmates, studying and fraternizing all around, nor did I derive any happiness from the light touch of the sun after a long stay indoors. No, I skipped down the road with nothing but my destination in my mind. Not that I'm the kind of girl who'd go skipping around thoughtlessly. I had a reason. I'm going to meet the boy I like the best in the world. Someone's got to crash. That said, my reason may have been a good one, but no student in their right mind should go skipping down the road in a campus of a school of the highest pedigrees as Hope's Peak Academy. Therefore, it wasn't surprising that other students who happened to walk by looked at me oddly. But that really has nothing to do with me. Nothing in the world could stop my skipping. Not a crying girl, not a couple fighting, not a student in a wheelchair that has come to a standstill, not even an anemic student who has fallen down. Heartless, jeez. One thought alone moves my body. I want to meet him. I love him so much. I skipped so obscenely that no one would probably find it surprising if I suddenly sprouted wings and flew up towards the sky. No, that's a step further. That's a significant step. Relevant. I continued down the road, but... Huh? I suddenly came to a stop. Which way should I go? I looked around in confusion and realized that I didn't recognize any of the landmarks around me. My heart started beating loudly. No, everything's fine. I calmed myself down and removed the notebook from my backpack I was wearing. On the back page of the notebook, the following sentence was written. You're looking for the neurology lab on the 3rd floor of the biology building in Hope's Peak Academy's Eastern Quarter. I felt a refreshing wind of relief passing through my body. Yeah, that's right, the biology building. But where is that biology building anyway? My heart went noisy once more. Everything's fine, no need to worry. I nervously flipped through the notebook as if acting on instinct, and my eyes stopped on a page with a crude drawing of a map. Above it, the following was written. This is a diagram of Hope's Peak Academy's Eastern Quarter. The pluralization of hopes and then academies and not peak. Oh, it's messing with me. Well done, me! Without thinking, I struck a victory pose. Who on earth is this? Soon, I was standing on the raised edge of the fountain that decorated the center of the courtyard, comparing the buildings around me with the map. Literature building, science building, physics building, arts building, math building, PE building, linguistics building, staff building. As cold droplets from the fountain kept hitting my thighs, I looked for my destination, the biology building, as if I've never visited before. Ah, it's right over there. I finally found the square building, identifiable by its light green walls. It looked exactly like the note about the biology building in my notebook described it. Right! I jumped down from the fountain's edge and started running. Some boys in the area looked at me in surprise. Maybe my skirt flew up for a second during my vigorous sleep, but that really has nothing to do with me. Anyway, I must reach my destination before I forget. My ferocious dash led me inside the biology building, where I soon discovered a flight of stairs at the back of the lobby. I didn't lose momentum even for a second, as I ran up the stairs to the 3rd floor. When I reached it, I ran down the corridor, checking the signs next to the doors lined on the wall. Finally, at the very end, I found the sign that read Neurology Lab. I hastily stopped in my tracks. After a quick deep breath, I checked my hair and my smile in a hands mirror. Yep, cute as always. Flashing that same wonderful smile and shouting, "G'day!" in my brightest voice, I opened the lab's door, and that when it happened. Okay, so whoever this is Australian, apparently? Got it. Something flew, or is there a translation in Japanese that means "g'day" and it's just the same thing? Because "g'day" I've heard is like exclusively Australian, but maybe there's an equivalent to Japanese that means "eek." I turned my head in panic and saw a small blade embedded in the wall behind me, still vibrating from the impact. Who's throwing shit at people? I jumped back. Why is there a scalpel flying through the air? I screeched. Don't shout, a chiding voice answered back from inside the lab. The moment I heard that voice, my heart started beating faster. Thump, thump went my heart as I turned to look inside the lab. A boy was lying on top of a bed installed in the center of the room. You're late. That's unseemly for someone as ugly as you. This sounds like Tagami. A dirty white shirt was sloppily thrown over his body. He was lying face up, his face concentrated on a thick manga magazine he held in his magazine he held in his hand. He didn't look at me once. So I'm gonna guess that's these two. This is our ditzy protagonist girl, who seems very forgetful, and then we've got this guy who legs look really huge compared to his body, and I can't tell what manga he's reading there, so it's alright. You're also too loud for someone as ugly as you. This guy's an asshole. Fuck him. Speaking of, someone as ugly as you being scared of flying scalpels is weird too. Fuck this guy. Wait a second, I stopped him, my voice showing signs of panic. I could report you for discrimination if you keep calling me ugly, you know. Who are you gonna report me to? The National Japanese Ugly People Association? That kind of organization would be guilty of discrimination just by existing. This guy's an asshole, Jesus. The manga reading boy who kept calling me ugly was the person in charge of this neurology lab. The doctor in charge of my treatment. My childhood friend. The boy I like most in the world. Oh, god damn it. Is that what this story is? Okay. He's super high school level neurologist. Yasuke Matsuda. Good name to remember to hate. Oh, I see. You're a member of that association, aren't you? Is that why you're so angry? I'm not even ugly. On second thought, you're right. You aren't ugly. My chest swelled in pride and I flashed a complacent smile. Yep, that's right. I even checked in my mirror just now and you're super ugly. This guy's such a dick. What the fuck? My shock was considerable, but it didn't take me long to recover enough to come up with a sharp response. Liar, I'm not super ugly. If anything, I'm world-class cute. Matsuda-kun continued to ignore the fuss I was making, his eyes never leaving the magazine. I don't care what the world thinks. Ugliness is objective and I'm free to make my own judgment, he said, as if the matter at hand didn't concern him at all. So tell me where you think I'm ugly. I'll go fix it up in surgery. Jesus. I said in desperation. Is it my eyes, my nose, maybe my mouth? How about my eyebrows? You forgot to mention your heart. But I can't fix up my heart in surgery. I mean, not in the way that you're talking. What the fuck is happening? Why is this guy such a dickhead? Well, like friends since childhood and he's being such an asshole? This is Mikan all over again. Is that so? Poor you. Honestly, you're beyond help. Both your face and your brain aren't any good. I think you can have some success if you change yourself an object of sympathy, though. If you make yourself an object of sympathy, though. Go sit in front of a train station and beg for change or something. I'm sure you'll make lots of money. This guy's such a cunt. Wow. When does he die? I dropped my shoulders, crestfallen. Then I let my hands drop toward the floor and my body droop limply. I was beaten up. By the way, who are you? Eh? I raised my head in surprise at his unexpected question. I can't really tell just by the voice. Are you saying you didn't know who you were talking to until now? It's your fault. You never told me who you were. I didn't, but you can recognize me by my look, can't you? See, it's me. I don't have time to look at you, said Matsuda-kun, still absorbed in his book. I just got to the interesting part. Don't have time. Isn't that just a manga magazine? So what? If you're going to ask what's more important, me or the manga, the answer's the same as always. It's always the manga. This guy is such an asshole. I see. If the answer's the same as always, that means manga was always more important to you than me. That's cruel. I didn't want to know that. That's a fine observation, but please just answer the question. The way that he's talking, he seems to very much know who he's talking to. Okay, pressured, I took the notebook out of my backpack once more and observed its front cover. Ryoko Otonashi's memory notebook. As soon as I saw that title, I remembered my own name. Okay, so that's why it was written down while she was... Okay, so we're dealing with someone with high level amnesia. Okay. It seems my name is Ryoko Otonashi. I only know one person stupid enough to not be sure of her own name. Ah, I think you're talking about me. Probably. Makuda-san let out a big sigh. Huh. So you weren't someone suspicious after all. Are you trying to say that you threw that scalpel early because you mistook me for someone suspicious or something? Exactly. I am not the kind of person who throws sharp objects at acquaintances, after all. But you just did! Liar! I pointed my index finger straight at Matsuda-kun. I mean, before you confirmed who I am, you told me I was late and that I was too loud for an ugly person. That's proof you knew who I was. Smack. Matsuda-kun loudly snapped his manga magazine shut. He leveraged the bed's cushion to jump out of it and walked briskly towards me until there was almost no distance between us. Eh? What? Why? He looked straight into my eyes. My body grew hotter by the seconds. You remember that? Huh? What is happening here? I don't even know who's talking. Matsuda-kun clutched my shoulder strongly with both his hands. He pushed his face close to mine. Do you remember me calling you ugly when you got here? He asked slowly. Seeing Matsuda-kun pressing so closely to me with such a serious expression on his face made my heartbeat increase tenfold. I think so. I guess my condition's a little better today. What is happening? Just as the tone of my voice started warming up, he released his hold on my shoulders and turned around to face away from me. Then, still looking away, he whispered as if talking to himself. Is your condition really better, or is it worse? Huh? What do you mean? It's nothing. Matsuda-kun shook his head and began speaking in a commanding tone. Go lie on the bed. We have to begin today's treatment. Is he like just being a dickhead and using the fact that she's forgetful to just gaslight her in real time? What the fuck? Or is her memory actually that bad? I don't like either response, honestly. With my mind still reverberating with the beats of my heart, I removed my backpack and set it aside. Then, I lay down on the bed, occupied by Matsuda-kun until just a few minutes ago. As I let my body soak into the soft mat, my nose was filled with the scent of the sheets. Matsuda-kun's scent. I sniffed his scent as I felt the remains of his body warmth engulf my body, and felt as happy as if he were lying next to me, hugging me softly. I laughed an instinctive happy laugh. This feels like the only reason that she likes him so much is because he's the one thing that she can remember with any actual amount of memory. So she just has that love because it's the only thing she can remember. Is something funny? Matsuda-kun grimaced and gave me a hard look. I realize that's the way dung beetles laugh, but even though you are one, it's just too gross. Can't you at least try to laugh normally? Hyo 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 hyo. What's normal about that? That's even grosser. This guy's such a cunt. Jesus. Shocked, Matsuda-kun rolled a trolley noisily from the center of the lab. On top of it were several complicated, important-looking things. Machines, I know, whatever. He pushed the trolley up to the bed. He said, "Here we go," and started operating one of the machines with a tense expression on his face. I found myself staring at him work. Silky soft hair, long almond eyes peeking through it, long feminine eyelashes, a pointed jaw, small pale lips, long white fingers. Stop looking at me, ugly. It's creepy. And a sharp tongue. That's right. That's my Matsuda-kun. I rolled to my side and wrote a note in my notebook. You don't have to write everything down, dung beetle. But if I don't write it down, I'll forget it all. Matsuda-kun let an exaggerated sigh. Honestly, your brain's like a bottomless bucket. She clearly has some type of condition. Stop being an asshole. A bottomless bucket. It wasn't another one of his cruel jokes. It was true. I forgot everything I see and hear after a very short time. I don't know the reason. If I ever knew, I've forgotten it. Jeez. But whatever the reason may be, my forgetfulness is not normal. Of that I'm certain. But it's not like I'm forgetting these things because I want to. There's a sickness in my brain, right? I can't help it, so be nice to me. No, I don't think we can just call it sickness and be done with it. Matsuda-kun shook his head lightly. The human memory is a complicated thing, and there is much we don't know about it. It's still very much a black box. Your situation isn't just a simple sickness that can be dealt with like any other. As he explained, he stuck suction pads all over my head and my face. The cords running from the suction pads were attached to the machines on the trolley. There's a part of the human memory we call episodic memory. It stores your personal experiences, what you see and hear. The area of the brain responsible for it is called the hippocampus. If something goes wrong there, the brain experiences difficulties in creating and storing new episodes. There's a famous old example about a patient who had the hippocampus removed in surgery and lost all ability to form new memories. After that happened, there has been much research done about the exact role of the hippocampus in relation to memory. That said, even if your hippocampus is malfunctioning, you won't lose your ability to remember or learn procedural memory tasks such as riding a bicycle or using tools. You won't remember the episodes related to those tasks though. For example, you may remember how to ride a bicycle, but you won't remember how you came to be able to ride them. That's it in a nutshell. Oh, this is hitting really close to home as someone with the early stages of dementia. It's great. I love how many things I do that are related to people having really bad memory. It's not at all creepy for me to do, or read, or like just incredibly too close to home and existential. Let's move on. I see. So that's why, even though I am very forgetful, I still know how to read and write in my notebook. I held the notebook in question with both of my hands and nodded thoughtfully. Ryuko Otanashi's memory notebook. That notebook was memory itself for me. My one and only indispensable trusted item. As long as I have it, I can probably live a regular life, much like regular people. That said, it seems that this school is a little late in accommodating the memory challenged, and that I am still facing many difficulties on that front. For example, during exams, it's forbidden to look in notebooks, which caused my grades to plummet and got me suspended. Oh boy, is this hitting close to home for me. Holy fuck. What? I've been suspended from the school I held looking up from the notebook just because my grades are bad? That's not fair. You should be glad they haven't kicked you out completely. I had to negotiate with the school to make that happen. You stood up for me? My heart skipped a beat. I'm so happy. You really are fond of me, aren't you? Matsuda-kun snorted. I just need you here as a research subject. Oh, what an asshole. Nevertheless, Matsuda-kun went out and helped me, and that's good enough. Your case seems to involve a failure in the retrieval of long-term memory. I think something went wrong with the synapses connecting the neurons somewhere in your brain, but I need more time to investigate the problem more thoroughly before I can really understand what's going on. I didn't understand most of what you just said, but at least I haven't been expelled. If I get expelled now, where would I even go? I don't have anywhere to go outside of this school. I've forgotten everything else. I don't even remember my family or any old friends I may or may not have. If I get expelled, I'll also end up away from you, Matsuda-kun. Being separated from Matsuda-kun was the thing I feared most. My body shivered a little, just speaking the words out loud. Oops, scroll too far. You shouldn't worry too much, Matsuda-kun. That's not a... You shouldn't worry too much. Matsuda-kun turned to face me and spoke bluntly. You are a valuable research subject, and I don't plan to lose you. At least not at the moment. But you might change your minds later. I'm happy, but I have to remember not to be too much of a burden from now on. Don't complain. You should be honored that you're participating in such important research, Matsuda-kun chided me, and then continued his explanation. In order to understand why memory loss occurs, we need to understand the core elements of our brain's memory storage apparatus. Once we make advances in that field, it opens the door to a wide array of possibilities, like improving the quality and longevity of human memory, or developing medicine to prevent memory loss. In the future, we might even be able to treat memories like we do data on a hard drive. We'll be able to create devices that back them up or destroy parts of them freely. I'm now realizing why this story may be super important. I mean, the moment I started talking about memory was pretty obvious, but hey, here is it confirmed in hard writing. Where was I up to? There. There's also research going on that front abroad. They managed to erase lab rats' long-term memory by manipulating their M-zeta kinase enzyme. I see. No, you don't. In fact, I didn't see it all. There we go. But for the time being, I had to be agreeable. In any case, I'm just super high school level happy that I can be any help to my beloved Matsuda-kun. Your brain is empty, and so are the words it produces. You really are an empty woman. I didn't quite understand if he was serious or just making fun of me. But that's just how Matsuda-kun is. It seems he's pretty serious. If this is him making fun of you, then he's still a total dick. He always insisted I should take care of myself. He may be cold to me and he may be blunt, but he doesn't treat me with fake sympathy. It's depressing when people do, so I'm grateful for his attitude. I may be empty, but I'm still super happy. I raised my voice, refusing to be discouraged, but Matsuda-kun's reply was almost a whisper. Well, I can't deny you're helping me out here. One doesn't get his hands on such a rare case very often. Did you say rare? I like the sound of that word. I felt as happy as I was all being praised. So what's rare about me? Tell me. Stop acting like a child. Matsuda-kun let out a big sigh. I don't want to tell you. You'll just get annoyingly excited. What's so wrong with that? Tell me. My insistence finally paid off. You don't often see someone possessing such a superb brain-intensive talent as you do affected by memory loss. That's why you're such a rare case. Talent? She was brought here in the first place. Talent? Brain intensive? Nothing came to mind. It's fine if you don't remember it. It was really irritating when you used that talent of yours. I'm warning you, don't ever try to use it on me. You got that, dung beetle? What on earth is a talent? I didn't quite get what he meant, but his dung beetle comment stung my heart a little bit, so I couldn't help but nod in agreement. Well, I don't really care as long as I get to spend these intimate moments with you, Matsuda-kun. I should be thankful there's a sickness in my brain. I told you it's not really a sickness. Matsuda-kun struck even more suction cups to my head, as if he was trying to hide my grinning face. Nevertheless, it's admirable that you can take this so easily. Your condition is no laughing matter. Shouldn't you be at least a little worried? What is there to worry about? I mean, Matsuda-kun said in amazement. Aren't you worried whether these symptoms are ever going to go away? If I ever scroll and things get slightly cut off, I apologize. It's hard to be so precise with scrolling. So just, hey, I'm reading every word, so it doesn't matter too much. His words surprised me. It wasn't like Matsuda-kun at all, asking a question like that in such a serious voice. I'm not worried at all. I laughed, trying to lighten the mood. I mean, the only me I can remember is the me that is lying here on this bed at this very moment. I can't remember anything from before I lost, memory. So it's not like I have anything to compare it to. That's why I don't see my forgetfulness as a disadvantage. It's just a part of who I am. Hitting weirdly close to home, jeez. You don't see it as a disadvantage, but aren't you even worried about how this memory loss started or when it's going to end? Not at all. In fact, I'm much more worried that if I suddenly get cured, I wouldn't get to see you anymore, Matsuda-kun. That part's not quite me. The room suddenly turned quiet. After the silence continued for a while, Matsuda-kun broke it with a whisper. You don't have to worry, he said, his voice suddenly dark. I won't let this treatment end. It is worrying. I looked up. The face peeking through his pitch-black hair was stiff, lost in thought. Matsuda-kun? As soon as I called him, he straightened up and turned back to me. No, it's nothing. It just means never fixable. He shook his head as if trying to smooth things over. Then he returned to the machine and continued working as if nothing happened. Well, nothing good can come out of being too pessimistic about your symptoms. That's one case where your natural cheerfulness is actually helpful. Yep, my thinking's very flexible after all. Your head is flexible, that's for sure. You can't even remember your friends or family before you lost your memory, and yet you aren't even slightly disconcerted. But forgetting was just like I never had them at all. That's why everyone I forgot, they really have nothing to do with me anymore. Okay, now we're getting very different. I literally have tattoos to make sure I don't forget people, so hey. Those words again, Matsuda-kun winked for an awfully long time. If you keep saying things have nothing to do with you, you're going to end up with nothing left inside. Oh, I'll be fine. I will always have you, Matsuda-kun. I struck my chest in pride. You're the only person I can remember, so as long as you're here, I won't get lonely. You probably linked me with the process of coming here to receive this treatment in your procedural memory. That's why you can remember me. No, that's not it at all. Yeah, I know, said Matsuda-kun, trying to calm me down before I came too flustered. He continued attaching cups to my face, stopping from time to time to scratch his chest, which I could catch a glimpse of through a gap in his dirty white shirt. Does he really know what I meant? He probably just said that to shut me up. I don't even think he believed me when I said I remembered him. But it's true. I don't remember him in the usual sense of the word remember, of course, but I didn't lie when I said I do. I remember Matsuda-kun. I forget him, and yet I remember him. I'm not talking about our conversations or what we did together. For these kinds of memories, I have to rely on my notebook. No, what I remember is something much more special and important. It's not memories, but feelings. Not using my head, but using my heart. What I remember about Matsuda-kun is pure emotion. Every time I see him, I feel my heart, I feel the beat of my heart before my head even realizes what's going on. That beat tells me one very important thing. For me, his existence is precious, one of a kind. That's why no matter how forgetful I become, I will never forget him. There's a connection deeper than memories between the two of us. For me, Matsuda-kun is special. He's extraordinary. He's a miracle. Shut up already, will you? I came back to my senses, confused. You heard me? I was about to jump out of bed, but Matsuda-kun pinched back my head. You're going to get the cord disconnected. What are you, human waste? Oh, you're such an asshole, fuck. As if I tried to disconnect his cord on purpose. But I never said a word. Are you talking about how loud my heartbeat is? I can't help that. If my heart stops, I'd die. I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about the noise outside. Is the parade happening right now? Eh? Outside? Matsuda-kun turned up his chin and pointed to the window. When I listened intently, I could hear an unusual noise coming from outside. Jeering voices, angry voices, hooting voices, reactionary voices full of anger, the kinds of voices that could make the earth rumble. It was an assembly of unpleasant voices that could make your face frown instinctively. What is that? It's the parade. They're getting louder every day. A parade? You don't mean that parade? Liar, you don't remember it at all. Matsuda-kun pinched my forehead and continued explaining. His face was grim. It's essentially a demonstration, but the teaching staff, or maybe I should say the old geezers in the steering committee, didn't like the sound of that word, so they decided to call it a stupid name like a parade. It's very word spinning. It's like, no, they're not protesting. It's fine. But isn't a parade the exact opposite of a demonstration? That's exactly why they chose that name. But why a parade? It's the guys from the preparatory school. I can't read that word. I've never heard of such a thing, or have I? You don't remember, of course. Well, your head is oversized, so I guess it can't be helped. Yep. Wait, calling a girl oversized is a sexual harassment. If this was the Edo period, you'd be beheaded by now. How does she remember that? Fuck off. My head, which was on its way from the bed, was pushed back down. There's no way she remembers history like... whatever. Hope's Peak Academy is not a traditional learning facility like other schools. They provide education for the talented, but at the same time, they research that talent. The teaching staffs aren't simple educators. They're also scientists who research human talent. But scientists are a bothersome bunch, says the neurologist. The more they research, the more they want to research even deeper. Therefore, there's something they've never heard, they've never have enough of. Do you know what that is? It's money. Again, says the neurologist. Alright, my chance to find the answer on my own was gone. So that's the least I could say. Up until recently, Hope's Peak Academy was a small-scale facility that could survive on a government subsidy and graduate donations. Their research was often blocked by a lack of researchers, though. But the steering committee was not satisfied with the state of research, so they instituted the preparatory school in order to bring more money. I nodded enthusiastically to show I was listening. The gist of it is that our super high school levels are affiliated with the main school, but there is now a separate educational facility attached to it called a preparatory school. That school is located on the west quarter of the campus, while the main school remains here in the east quarter. So we don't actually intermingle much. I heard there's not much that's the same over there. They don't scout their students and rely on a regular entrance exam to choose among applicants. Their teaching staff is chosen the same way. Our teachers are the scientists who work and live at the school, while they have regular teachers coming from outside. So it's just a regular high school then, isn't it? Exactly. Nevertheless, there are a flood of applications. The brand's name is a powerful thing. Matsuda-kun almost spat the words out. People didn't care that it was just a preparatory school. The prestigious Hope's Peak Academy had finally opened its doors to the public. People are sheep. They're drawn to a name, and the school took advantage of that to get more money. Thanks to that, the school then went through a sudden growth spout. We suddenly had research buildings that can make any university jealous. No one was prepared for that. In just a year or two, Hope's Peak Academy became a school of an entirely different scale. The power of the steering community also grew accordingly. But that almost seems like a fraud. It doesn't just seem like one. Matsuda-kun's mouth is twisted in a bitter smile. Right now, Hope's Peak Academy is set up like a third world country's pyramid class system. The multitude of students in the preparatory school exist only to support the few super high school levels in the main one. It seems they have some kind of bogus system in place for exceptional students to transfer to the main school, but I've never heard of anyone actually succeeding. Our teachers probably don't even think any of them deserve it. Wow, this school is just capitalism in a fucking nutshell. What? Who said that? Oh, right, it was me, the super socialist person. That's not how educators should behave. You're right, but it's exactly how scientists do. If they've got no fucking morals, in which case they're assholes and shouldn't be scientists, but whatever. They don't care about anything but their research subject. Says the neurologist who berates his amnesiac patient because she's a good research tool. I'm just the same, in fact. It's just that their subject is human talent. But it's so unfair, I puffed my cheek. Of course it is. If it wasn't, there wouldn't be any need for a demonstration, would there? But still, Matsuda-kun suddenly cut his speech short. His tone of voice changed to a cautious one. I don't think they could have set this all up on their own. This has to be a result of someone else's scheme. That's how I feel. Matsuda-kun narrowed his eyes and looked outside the window. His look was so grim that I hesitated to speak. Hey, ugly. Arsehole. Such an arsehole. After a short while, he turned his back to me, as if remembering something. Write this conversation down properly in your notebook. Don't brush it off as having nothing to do with you. Those preparatory school students don't think much of us. I don't think they're going to attack you or anything, but it's better to be cautious. Okay, I understand. As I replied, I noticed the suction cups on my head and my face were making it difficult to move my mouth. I need you to stay still for a while. I don't mind if you sleep. Matsuda-kun stepped away from my line of sight. But I'm not sleepy at all, I replied in an insecure voice. Matsuda-kun's voice answered from the other side of the room. I can give you sleeping pills. 12 should probably be enough. Isn't that a lethal dose? Are you sure it's alright? As soon as my uneasiness grew even deeper, Matsuda-kun appeared in front of me again. He was now wearing a school jacket on top of his dirty shirt. If something happens to my machines while I'm gone, you're dead. Are you going somewhere? I have a little business to take care of. Anyway, if something happens to my machines, you're dead. He was serious enough to repeat the warning twice. I wouldn't mind being killed if it's you who kills me. It would be troublesome for me. I hate gore. I didn't think that was such a good quality for someone who studies the human brain, but I didn't say anything. In that case, if I stay here and wait like a good girl, let's go see a movie together later. A movie? Like that one. I flipped through the pages of my notebook, searching for memories about movies. Here's one. It's about two robbers, Harry and Marv, sneaking into just Home Alone. Oh, they're actually just naming Home Alone. Usually references in Danganronpa are Kniferella, and I missed them. But no, they're straight up talking about Home Alone. Are you talking about Home Alone? It seems you've forgotten, but you bugged me to see it with you before, and we did. Really? In that case, I continued flipping through the notebook, but couldn't find mention of any other movies. Seems I was particularly interested in that movie. I couldn't blame myself all day, but it'd get me nowhere. I could blame myself all day. Well, it's a masterpiece. I'm sure it's still interesting even if you watch it again. It's certainly not a bad movie, but it's not the kind of movie I'd want to watch again and again. So, what kind of movie do you... Please don't ask me questions fit for the diary of a middle school girl. This is Interesting. Just the straight up reference to Home Alone. It's just I wasn't expecting that. Just straight up, just the we're actually naming it. Okay. I felt his distasteful stare glaring down at me, but I didn't give up. Let's do it. If you pretend you're watching it for the first time, it's going to be fun. I read a little more in my notebook. According to this, I thought that the little boy who played the main character, Macaulay Culkin, is super cute. There's a cute boy in this movie. Isn't this exciting? Macaulay. And why exactly do you think it would excite me? And also, that actor isn't named as he was a brand of lingerie. It's Macaulay Culkin. We're just straight up talking about Home Alone now. What the fuck is that? This is weird. It says here that I thought he was cute. So cute I wanted to adopt him. You only say that because you don't know how he looks today. He underwent quite the transformation. This feels like this person has just a vendetta against Macaulay Culkin. A transformation, huh? Matsuda-kun narrowed his almond eyes even more than usual and swiped his bangs away from his forehead. Just be a good girl and go to sleep. Actually, now that I think about it, there is a very possible chance that in the original Japanese, it is a not straight up same name translation, and this person has just chosen to translate it. And that this is a fan translation, not an official one, so maybe the original thing didn't straight up mention it, or maybe the games for legal rights had to change it into not straight up references where the original Japanese could get away with it. I mean, filthy acts done at a reasonable price, so just be a good girl and go to sleep. It seems he was tired of me trying to postpone his departure. Wait, don't go! Nevertheless, now panicking, I tried to stop him again. I don't want you to go. I'd be lonely. Don't leave me here alone. We haven't seen each other in a long time, have we? A long time? Matsuda-kun stopped in his tracks. Why do you think we haven't seen each other in a long time? Eh? I'm asking why you think we haven't seen each other in a long time. Bad memory. Matsuda-kun faced away from me as he spoke. His voice was tinted with pain and made me feel anxious. I can tell by the rate my heart was beating, I think. So, if you see me every day, your heart doesn't beat as fast when I'm near? No, that's not it. We just met. We did meet just yesterday, you know. I read that as met, like the first time they met, but no. Yeah, we did. It's not surprising that you forgot. Matsuda-kun's back curled forward as if he was dejected. I guess you were just lying when you said I'm the only one you can remember. Wait, I'll remember in a second. In haste, I flipped through the pages of my notebook. I went through them all back to back, but I couldn't find any memories of me and Matsuda-kun meeting the day before. It was a complete failure. When I looked away from the notebook, Matsuda-kun was already gone. I've been had, and there was nothing more I could do about it. How big is this notebook to write down this much information? So I guess there really is nothing I can do but sleep. Not that that's such a bad thing. At the very least, when I'm asleep, I can lose myself in my dreams, and now we're completely disconnected from my life. I can escape this lonely world that doesn't have Matsuda-kun in it. I can probably even meet Matsuda-kun in my dreams. With that thought deep in my heart, I rolled to my side, careful not to disturb the cords all over my head, and sniffed the pillow that still had traces of Matsuda-kun's scent. I sniffed at it as if I was a puppy, and rubbed my cheeks against it, purring happily. That's a cat. Then I closed my eyes. As my vision blacked out, my other senses sharpened. Before long, the only thing remaining in my world was Matsuda-kun's scent. No, that wasn't the only thing. I could also hear the voices interfering with me and with my and Matsuda-kun's private world, an assembly of emotional, unsettling voices. Anxiety washed over my entire body just by listening to them, so I blocked my ears in panic. It has nothing to do with me, after all. He specifically told you that it didn't, but okay. Nevertheless, I couldn't sleep. I felt my body forgot how to. I want to fall asleep. I want to sleep and tide over this world that doesn't have Matsuda-kun in it. I want to meet him again. Matsuda-kun, 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 Matsuda-kun. And then, as I dreamed about dreaming about Matsuda-kun, I slowly fell into a blissful sleep. And that is the end of chapter 3, significantly longer than the others. That was 26 pages at almost an hour. This is going to be a long fucking series. Okay, this is going to be, at that rate, 10 episodes of an hour long each. This is going to be even longer than I thought it was. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's an entire book. Like, I get it. It's a full-on book. It's almost, like, it's 250 pages. I get it. That's a full book size, but, geez, that's a long book still. I'm just making sounds as I'm taking little drinks. Okay, so, I shall end this episode here. Next time we'll pick up on chapter 4 with, it seems like we're just, we're following up where Matsuda is a dick. he's an arsehole, and I'm assuming he's going to be an even bigger arsehole, because if his whole thing is determining how to fuck with people's memories, then hey, that leads directly into Danganronpa 1 and 2. Well, I don't know how much of his research went into the stuff for Danganronpa 2, where they plugged him into computers for that, where they just left their real bodies in the world and just fucked with their brains and let them walk around for getting 2 years of their life in Danganronpa 1. So I'm going to guess he's a real asshole because he's involved with that. The parade has happened. Azuru has happened and has killed a bunch of people. I don't remember the exact details, or if we learned any details about exactly what Azuru had done from either Despair Girls or Danganronpa 2. I remember hearing about how he was created and cultivated to be Ultimate Hope, and he's kind of evil because of it. And he does end up specifically working with Junko, and we saw the thing at the end of Ultra Despair Girls where he specifically is working with Junko, so there's that. But, yeah, it seems that Azuru killed a bunch of people. The steering committee's trying to hide it, and it was... Because I remember something about this. There was people that were... Something happened with Azuru. People were killed. I think it may have even been a reserve course of students that were killed by Azuru. And that's when the reserve course went, you fuckers are just using us for your experiments, and a bunch of us just got killed because of your experiments that you are using us to bankroll. Fuck you, parade, let's all kill ourselves. But the let's all kill ourselves part is because of Junko. We know that. So I don't remember the exact details because, hey, my memory's bad. My memory's nowhere near as bad as, Ryuko's here, but I've still got bad memory. What should only get worse is these let's play videos that I will be doing until the day I die in 12 years keep going for. So there's that. It's hitting weirdly close to home. There's so many things that are talking about fucking with memory, and some of the emotions that Ryuko has in regards to her memory are very much aligned with me and my memory problems, and then some of them are completely different, and it's like, point is, I'm curious to see where this leads into Danganronpa stuff with what we've got so far. We're learning about characters and a little bit of background information, and we're getting hints of this matters because memory is a factor in this. So, hey, on the next episode, we'll see how many chapters we get through there, and we'll read more Danganronpa. So, until then, this is version 2, signing out.